Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel, or hey if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Today's video is going to be my summer TBR. We're going to be running through the 10 books that I want to get to this summer, sort of like organising my summer TBR. I feel like the sunny weather last week in the UK has gone to my head and I'm just immediately thinking about what books I want to read in the summer. And to be fair, I do actually like to start reading summer books quite early rather than, you know, June, July. I kind of like to start reading them end of May, like really just get into the mindset. So I found it really fun to sort of have a look through, see what 10 books I really want to prioritise this summer. We have 3 from my physical TBR and then the rest are like new releases coming out or books I just haven't read and want to get my hands on. And basically, yeah, it might sound a little too early to be thinking about a summer TBR since we have just got spring, I guess, but I love summer books. I love summer and I just really wanted to make a summer TBR and, you know, maybe get some more recs from you guys. I can add some book recommendations to this TBR and get my hands on some of them. And yeah, I'm just in a summer vibe, so I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know if you do have any summery book recs, and I hope that you can take away maybe a few to add to your summer TBR. So without further ado, let's get into the video and discuss the 10 books that will be going on my summer TBR. I feel like I just said the word TBR so many times. Okay, so starting off, I'm going to run through the 3 books that I pulled from my physical TBR. I do have quite a big physical TBR at the moment, but I don't really feel like any of them were jumping out at me in like a summer way. None of them are like fun, cutesy summer reads, so I should probably like get some of those because I feel like I have a lot of thrillers, I have quite a lot of fantasy books or dark romance or dark academia, but I don't have any like cutesy little beach reading type books, so I really need to get on that. But first up, I have a new release. I've got What If I Never... don't know why I said it like that. I've got What If I Never Get Over You by Page Toon. This one just came out. I've got the Sprayed Edge The Works edition. Is that focusing? And the cover is gorgeous. If you know me, you know that last summer I read 7 Summers by Page Toon and literally loved it so much. It's one of my all-time favourite romance books. Please give it a read, it is so good. And obviously I had to get my hands on her latest release straight away, so I've got this one and I think I'm going to take it on like a summer holiday and read it on a summer holiday because there's just something about her books that give me like a summery vibe. And this one follows our main female character who falls in love while travelling Europe, and then I think they just spend a night together and then they plan to meet up, but the timings get mixed around and they don't end up meeting, and then 6 years later they meet somewhere else. I think maybe they've both got a job at the same place or something like that. Like the invisible string theory is at work with this one, and I feel like that concept sounds a mixture of like sad but also heartwarming but also romantic, and I can't wait to get to it. Page Toon's writing is always a fun time for me and I will definitely be reading this in the summer. Next up, I have Savour It by Tara Jewett. This one is a nice short and snappy read. I saw Destiny Sidwell read this one in a reading vlog not so long ago and picked it up from the works. I love the cover of this book. The sunset, like the purple and the pinks and these two here. It's just the prettiest cover. I love it. And it says summer won't last forever. This book is like a small town coastal book, and I think it's basically like the main female character is a little bit of like a city girl and she moves back to this small town, and I think the main guy is like a chef. Yeah, he is a chef. It's fake dating. So this is fake dating and I think they form like some kind of alliance and then ... we know what's gonna happen. We know what's gonna happen. I am so excited for this one and I keep seeing really amazing things about Tara Jewett's romances, and this is my first one from her, so we'll see what I feel about this one. And the last book that I have on my physical TBR that I want to read in the summer is An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. This one is a fantasy. It's a young adult fantasy, but something about it just kind of gives me like the vibe I want to read it in the summer. I'm not sure. I have heard incredible things about this series, and I think it's 4 books and it's a completed series. So I want to kind of read all 4 over summer if I can. So we've got our main character, and she's a scholar, and her brother has been taken away and she is basically fighting to get him back. It says, an orphan fighting for her family, a soldier searching for his freedom, a story burning to be told. So I think the main male character is like a really good soldier, but he doesn't really want to fight for the cause that is happening. And then I'm assuming there's like a romance, I think, in this series, but I could be wrong, but I think there is. And I just really like the cover. I've said this before, something about this, I really like this version of the cover. I know that there's like the updated ones, but I prefer these ones. So these are the 3 books on my physical TBR that I'm going to get to in the summer. But now we will move on to the 7 books that are on my radar. Okay, so up first is Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood. This is her latest release. It's coming out in May, I believe. And it's not really a romance book like she's ever put out before. She obviously does the STEM romances. She's done a chess one. She's done a college sports one, but this one looks super summery. The cover I'm obsessed with, and I believe it's a sequel to Not in Love, which came out last summer. So it's an age gap romance. It's brother's best friend trope, and they end up stuck together in a Sicilian villa for a summer. Okay, I'm so sold. So I basically think that these two kind of get told that their romance is too problematic, there's too many barriers that are in their way, so they can't be together, and then obviously they're stuck together for a whole summer and they're going out doing all these fun activities and developing their relationship, and I am so ready for that. That sounds so fun. Yes. Okay, next up is People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. I have read a number of Emily Henry books at this point. I kind of read Beach Read and Book Lovers at the start of my reading journey like years ago now, and I didn't love them at the time. So then I didn't pick up another Emily Henry book until Happy Place, which I did enjoy, and then I read Funny Story, which was a 5-star. So my relationship with Emily Henry has kind of been all over the place, and I really want to go back and read the books that I read before, so Book Lovers and Beach Read, and see if my opinions have changed. However, I never read People We Meet on Vacation, so I do still need to read that one, and I've heard that's quite like a rom-com vibe, because she tends to write more women's fiction vibe, and this one is more of like a rom-com, so I would be interested to see where I stand with this, because I do tend to love a rom-com, and it's like the only Emily Henry book I've never read, other than her latest release, which I will also be reading. I think it is, but I'm very excited. I think this is sort of, it's got that like typical Emily Henry feel to it, but just more of in a rom-com vibe. Like, it's not really focusing on just the woman and the women's fiction side of things. I think it's like focusing on their romance as a whole, and I believe that these 2 characters are best friends, and it's friends to lovers, but I could be wrong. Also, the UK version is actually called You and Me on Vacation, not People We Meet on Vacation, but I will be getting the US covers because I prefer them so much more. Moving on to a different tone of summer book, I really want to read The Hotel Nantucket by Ellen Hildebrand. I have never read an Ellen Hildebrand book before. However, I did just watch The Perfect Couple on Netflix, and I really enjoyed that show. And I have heard people say her books are genuinely like the most perfect books for summer, and I want to start reading at least a couple every summer and kind of work my way through her very long backlist. The Hotel Nantucket is one that has stuck out to me. I've seen a lot of people read this one and love it, and I think it has like a lot of characters, and we've got lots of things going on, lots of different dynamics. It's kind of almost giving me like a White Lotus vibe. It's following a character who's trying to revive the Hotel Nantucket, and she has just been appointed like manager, and she's trying to get all these people to come down, like an influencer and the billionaire owner, to give it like a push, give it a revival, and make everyone want to come and stay at the Hotel Nantucket. However, there's a scandal that happened in 1922 when a fire killed a chambermaid. So we've got that scandal, which is kind of hanging over the hotel's head, and there's lots of different like discrepancies going on and different affairs and things like that. And I do think that Ellen Hildebrand, after watching The Perfect Couple and that story, I feel like she can definitely merge a traditional summer book with more of like a mystery whodunit type of thing. Maybe. Could be wrong. Never read a book from her before, but I am very intrigued. Next up is It's a Love Story by Annabelle Monaghan. Monaghan? I'm not too sure. I have never read an Annabelle Monaghan book before. However, I feel like she is super popular at this point and everyone seems to have read and loved her books, specifically in the summertime. Her covers are very summery, her stories tend to seem like they're set in the summer, and this is a brand new release coming out soon, so I'm super excited to read it. I want to kind of start with her latest release and then work back, I think, unless you guys say that this one is connected to another book and I need to read that book first, in which case I will. However, I think I'm going to start with her latest release, which follows a girl who does not believe in love. She has sworn off love, she does not want it. Yeah, and then she tells a lie. Her first kiss is like this famous musician, I believe, and she has said that he has agreed to write and perform a song for something to do with her work, and now that she's told the lie, she has to make it happen. So she has to contact him even though she's not spoken to him in like 20 years, and she has to find out what's going on with him. Can he come and do this big favour for her? And they're kind of going to reconnect. One I am really excited to read is Summer in the City by Alex Astor. She is a very popular fantasy author. She's the author of the Lightlark series, which I haven't read but have heard good things about. That is kind of like a Hunger Games style dystopian fantasy trilogy, or is it more than a trilogy? I think it might be more now, not too sure. However, she has just released her debut romance novel and it has been all of my For You page, all of my Instagram. Everyone seems to be reading it and loving it, and it's meant to be like a really cozy, cute New York City vibe rom-com. There's so many special editions going about of this book as well, which by the way are gorgeous, and I just need to get my hands on this book and read it immediately because I love books set in cities. If they are set in a place and we are getting, you know, the glimpses into that city and the touristy bits, and you kind of get you almost feel like you're there. You feel like you're a tourist as well when they start describing like famous monuments or famous like buildings and things like that. And I think that part of this book is that they tour around New York City, because there is a map in the front of the book, and I am really intrigued to read a book set in New York because I've never been, really want to go, so this is probably going to be a really fun time for me. I don't know too much about the book other than that it is set in New York, and to be honest I don't really want to know too much because I feel like with a rom-com sometimes the blurb can spoil it a little bit. And with a book like this, all I personally need to know is that it is summery vibes, it's set in New York, it's a rom-com, it's romantic, and that just ticks all my boxes. And I would like to try a debut romance novel from this author because I do find it interesting when authors go from a fantasy book to a romance book. It would be interesting to see how their skills translate across all the different genres. Next up is Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. This one has been genuinely on my radar for so long at this point. I feel like I keep saying I want to read it and then I never end up getting my hands on it, and it's just time that I read it this summer. Her latest instalment to this series has just come out and it's got a purple cover and it's gorgeous. So I need to read the first book so I can get to the second and then put that gorgeous purple cover on my shelf because I'm obsessed with it. I do believe that this series isn't like the happiest series. I think there is some like sad themes running through it, and it kind of, I've heard it be described as more of like a real feeling romance. It sort of feels like it's, you know, could be between two genuine real people, which I love reading sometimes. This book I believe follows two people who are separated and they are co-parenting, and they are, you know, they're doing great at co-parenting, they're friends, like they're on good terms, but they're separated, and then one thing leads to another, and I think they like share a kiss, and then they kind of try to reevaluate, why are we broken up? Like, why? We still love each other, the love is still there, and they're trying to work through this issue and resolve and get back to their happy place in their marriage and work through what went wrong, why it happened, and I think we're just going along for the ride with them and exploring the emotions that come with reconnecting with someone that you have such a huge life with. And that just sounds so interesting and so heartfelt. And I've also never read a book by Kennedy Ryan, which sounds crazy because I feel like everyone loves her books. I also would like to get to her Hooped trilogy, is that what it's called? I think it's like Long Shot is the first book. Could be wrong, but I think. And the 10th book I want to read this summer is Firefly Lane by Kristen Hannah. Kristen Hannah is now officially, dare I say, my favourite author. Dare I say that? She is just, I love her books so much. They are incredible. I always have such a great time. And I watched the Firefly Lane show ages ago now. Like, genuinely ages ago. I watched that show, absolutely binged it, loved it, cried at the end. And then didn't really know it was based off of a book, to be honest. I just thought, this is a show, I guess I'll watch it. And then years down the line, probably not years, it was probably like 2 years, I figured out that she's actually an author. And I've read now 3 of her books, which doesn't sound a lot, but all 3 have been 2 5 stars, 1 4.5 stars. So I'm absolutely loving her books. And Firefly Lane, I feel like, is one of the more renowned books that she has written. And having watched the show, I would love to read the book as well and see what the hype is about with the book and see if the book lives up to the show, because I loved the show. This book essentially follows 2 friends and it's throughout their lives as friends, as best friends. So we start off when they're really young and like their adolescent friendship, and then we go into adulthood or young adulthood and then adulthood, and we see all the changes that happen in their lives and how they stay friends, and like maybe they have some arguments and there's some bad stuff that happens, but then we also see the good stuff. And I love books about friendship, so I definitely can't wait to give this one a go. Obviously I already know the plot, but I just feel like the book is usually better. I think that was 10 books, but knowing me, it was probably 9, so we'll hope that that was 10 books. But those are the books that I would love to get to this summer, so please let me know what is on your summer TBR. I know it's pretty early and you probably have not thought about your summer TBR yet, unless you're like me and can't wait, in which case let me know. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I really hope to see you in the next one. Bye guys.